So for today's video, let us talk about the Unit 4 assessment, learning resources, and instructional or the input accommodations. The objectives: at the end of the lesson, the students will be able to identify one type of assessment, explain the function of observation checklist, determine the different kinds of observation checklist. Let us start with the types of assessment. But before that, what is assessment? Assessment is the systematic collection, review, and use of information about educational programs undertaken for the purpose of improving student learning and development. Assessment is the process of gathering and discussing information from the multiple and diverse sources in order to develop a deep understanding of what students know, understand, and can do with their knowledge as a result of their educational experiences. The process culminates when assessment results are used to improve subsequent learning. There are three types of assessment. The first one is the observation checklist. The second one is the anecdotal report. And lastly is the portfolio assessment. My assigned topic is the observation checklist. What is observation checklist? It is a strategy to monitor specific skills, behaviors, or dispositions of individual students or all the students in a classroom. It is also a record-keeping device for teachers to use to keep track of who has mastered the target or who has not. A student observation checklist is used by teachers to perform an individual or group evaluation on students regarding their behaviors and interactions within the classroom. Observation checklists allow teachers to examine and adjust their teaching practices to cater to the learning needs of their students and determine ways to correct disruptive behaviors if there is any. The key areas to be observed in the student observation are the academic or instructional behaviors. These checks for the students' working habits and organizational skills. Examples: does the student work carefully and neatly? Does he or she follow along the instruction and task? Is he or she attentive to instruction and task? The second one is the social behaviors. This refers to the interaction of the students with the people they are surrounded within the school, including the peers and adults. Examples: is the student friendly and respectful towards adults and his or her peers? Does he or she interact appropriately with peers in an academic setting? The third one is the general behavior and conduct. This area pertains to the student's overall behavior. Examples: does the student engage in disruptive behaviors in class? How is his or her attention span? What about his or her activity level? Let us continue. The second area is about the characteristics. Well, effective observation checklist consists of student's name, space for 4 to 5 target area, a code or rating to determine students' proficiency, and also a space for any comment. And here are the code of students' proficiency. We have frequently, sometimes, and also not yet. This should be seen in the observation checklist for them or for the teachers to be guided on how to do it. Let us now continue with the functions. There are 4 functions of observation checklist. The first function is for the teacher. It can be a formative assessment focusing on specific behavior, thinking, social skills, writing skills, speaking skills, or even athletic skills. The next function is for peers. It is to assess the progress of another students. The third one is for the group. The checklist can be shared and discussed among group members to determine who needs additional help and to see how is the group performed. And the last function is the other function. It can also be used as a performance task assessment list. This student observation checklist is used by teachers to conduct an individual assessment of the student's behavior and interaction inside the school premises. Teachers can use this checklist to examine and determine areas they can improve to help a student excel academically and develop positive qualities. From the question, why should we use the observation checklist? I have 4 reasons provided. The first one is it provides a quick and easy way to observe and record many skills, criteria, and behaviors prior to the final test or the summative evaluation of students. The second reason is it provides the opportunity to change gear in classroom. The checklist showed teachers and the students the areas of concerns early enough to be able to help students before the test. It provides formative assessment of students' learning and also help the teacher monitor whether or not the students are on the right track. The advantage of using the observation checklist is that it is a great guide in gathering useful information that can be provide more objective insight on what can be improved in teaching method, classroom setup, and student learning. So how can we observe students so that we can fill out the observation checklist? Teachers and parents can also observe children in variety of settings: classroom, playground, field trips, hallways, gym. Individual, in groups or pairs, with younger children and older children, or with the adults. It is also possible to observe children perform in a variety of tasks. It can be reading, writing, computing, problem solving, singing, working, graphing or socializing, constructing, talking, map making, classifying, listening, sorting, playing music, dramatizing or word processing, dancing, playing, building, drawing, painting, typing or referring miming. Here are the different examples of checklist. The individual checklist. It is used when students are going to be observed in persistence. The second one is the developing criteria. Developing specific indicators that describe all the skills, actions, or behaviors that are expected in terms of criterion. The third one is the T-charts. It helps students understand what certain behavior look like. As on the example, it is about the social skill encouragement. Criteria for checklist. The examples are on writing, speaking, reading, social skills, problem solving, and also intelligent behavior. Let us now go to the second part of my report, which is the second type of assessment. It is the anecdotal report. So, what do you think is anecdotal report? It is a record of some significant item of conduct, a record of an episode in the life of a student, a word picture of the student in action, a word snapshot at the moment of the incident, any narration or events in which may be significant about his personality. Anecdotal reports are concise, objective narratives about an incident or person. In classroom, teachers can write anecdotal report recordings their observation of the students' behaviors, skills, attitudes, performance, and classroom incidents. Teacher can write, compile, and use their anecdotal notes on student as a documentation system. What is the purpose of anecdotal report? The teacher is able to understand her student in a realistic manner. It provides an opportunity for healthy student-teacher relationship. It can be maintained in the areas of behavior that cannot be evaluated by other systematic method. It helps the students to improve their behavior as it is a direct feedback of an entire observed incident. The student can analyze his behavior better. And lastly, can be used by students for self-appraisal and peer assessment. Teachers use the anecdotal report to get to know and understand their students by describing events in their lives. The anecdotal report allows teachers and guidance counselors to better understand students' personality patterns. The anecdotal report is a more effective method of data collecting that can be used to build relationships with teachers and classmates, among other things. So the continuation of this report is to be given to us by Miss Lancy Faith Kilnet, which is my groupmate. She will give you more information about the anecdotal report. So that's it for my video, and I hope to see you once again in the next one. Have a nice day, everybody, and thank you for watching.